What's going on, everybody? It's Gino. I am breaking down the full card breakdown of UFC Vegas 59. We have Santos versus Hill. And before we get started, if you have not done so, a lot of you guys are getting better at it, and I appreciate that. If you have not done this, shame on you. But you can make up to it right now. Make up for it right now. Hit the subscribe button on my channel. Hit the notification link so you know when I'm coming out with content, because this is my third piece of content and we are on Thursday, so I'm trying to set you all up nicely with some good reviews, good things to think about as we approach the card on Saturday. Finally, like the video and then leave me a comment of who your favorite fighter is, okay? Well, one more thing. That hot chick right there? Yeah, me and her. Don't tell my wife though, okay? Alright, so we have Thiago Santos versus Jamal Hill. The under set at 2.5 minus 165. I was all about Santos at first just because of his experience and stuff, but Jamal Hill's just, watching the tape, he's a beast. You know, he did lose to Craig. I don't see that happening again if they were to fight again. And he has 6 round 1 or round 2 finishes in his 10 wins. He does lack experience in comparison, but he's a rising prospect. I could see Santos testing him, like not being an easy knockout right off the bat, but I do see it happening, and I do see that under hitting. So I'm going to take Jamal Hill, and I'm going to take him to win by knockout or TKO. This is an all-in fight for me, though, because if Santos can pull off an upset, it will more than likely be by knockout at plus 400, and therefore I'm going to get like 20% of him, but I want 80% of Jamal Hill because I think at $9,000 you're going to need him when it comes down to it if you're trying to hit the optimal lineup. So now we have Geoff Neal versus Vicente Luque. I love Vicente Luque. He might be my favorite fighter on the card because of this. He's tough. He's fighting a guy that does have a high knockdown rate, but all that guy's past the victory, like plus 350 KO, TKO is his best path. He's fighting a guy in Luque who's not easy to knock out or knock down. Now, Luque, on the other hand, has several round 1 wins, and I see it going more that way towards him. He also has the ability to get a submission. So I'm going to take Luque under 2.5 instead of picking the method of victory and make that kind of like a same-game parlay. I think that could pay well, get you a nice little, put a little bit on that and move on. Now, as far as DraftKings goes, I'm going all in on the fight because I think either guy's going to score well, and you have 8,500 and 7,700. It's great pricing for what they bring to the table. The under set at 2.5 minus 125. So this one's interesting. I'm sticking with Usman. I said it earlier. I'm going to stick with him, and here's why. I think Puega's fighting up. I do think he's more skilled. I don't think Usman's that good, but Usman is a big boy, and it just almost feels like he's getting set up in this fight to have the opportunity to land that big punch. With that being said, I'm not selling my whole house and putting it all on Usman, but I do like that round 1 KO because I think that's how he wins. I think that's the best chance for him winning. The later the fight goes, the more stupid he gets, the more you see how he's not very good, and the more of a chance Puega's going to have to beat him. But I'm going to play both people on DraftKings. I do like the cheaper Usman in terms of payout because Puega could win and still not pay off his salary enough to be in the optimal lineup. Brogan Walker versus Juliana Miller. I am going to go Miller, and I'm going to go Miller by submission. I don't see her knocking out Walker, but I do see her being able to get a submission. She's a rising prospect. She's a good-looking girl. She's marketable. I think she's set up in this fight to win. So I definitely see that happening. She has 18 significant strikes per round, which it's okay, but it's not great. But we need that finish. Now, as far as DraftKings goes, I think I might fade this whole fight because I could see Miller getting that submission and still not scoring well enough for DraftKings. And I think there's just other plays that are better than both of these girls. But I've gotten bit by that a couple times the past couple weeks, so I'm going to really look at it and see what I do. They could be a sprinkle play, but I'm not going to be high on them. So now we have Augusto Sakai versus Sergey Spivak. I'm going Sakai. I'm going with the dog here at plus 200, and here's why. He's plus 500 to get a KO, TKO. If you look at 3 straight losses, it's Tuivasa, Rosenstruck, and Overeem. Those are very good fighters. Now, 4 out of his 6 most recent wins are KO TKO. He's 1,100 to get it round 1, and then he's 1,400 to get the TKO KO round 2. And the under is 2.5 at minus 185. I think that just lines up perfect for him as the dog play. So I'm going to play him, and I'm going to be heavy on this fight in DraftKings. On the other side of Spivak, I wouldn't be mad at you if you played him. He can get around 3 to 4 takedowns here. He did get 6 against Tuivasa, so if he does win, if he can take it out and get to the 3 rounds and go to the end and get a decision, he could score well, especially if he can land some takedowns here. So I'm going to be heavily, heavily invested in this fight, both sides. But I do like Sakai as the dog. So now you have Lipski versus Cachoeira, a.k.a. Catch a Beating. The one thing is, Catch a Beating is tough, and she goes hard, and she fights for your money, as Paul was talking about on the Dog or Pass podcast. She has 5 career finishes. She is vulnerable, though, when it comes to submissions, and I could see that happening here. But I think the most likely path is Cachoeira just gets beat up by Lipski for multiple rounds, and it ends in a decision. I'm going to own both girls, but I see them myself being below the field because, again, if you look at Lipski, she's 23.9 when it comes to total strikes per round, but, still, striking's only going to get you but so far. If she can't get takedowns, if she can't get control time and do those things, then, a decision, she's not going to score but so well. I'm going to go out and say she'll score, she'll win, and she'll score 79 to 80 fantasy points, which won't do much. Olin Jacek versus Sam Alvey. Okay, the under is set at 1.5, and it is plus 130. It's set at 1.5, though. So I like Michael for the parlays. I think that he's a minus 580 for a reason. I think he will beat Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey this should be his last fight after losing 7 fights in a row. But the one thing about him is he's got that puncher's shot. He could ruin everybody's night. So I'm going to elevate myself on Alvey because I can see him being 10%. What is it for me to go 20% Alvey if I'm running 150 lineups? Or maybe 15% Alvey, just to give myself an edge on the field. If you look at what Pena did in the first time she fought Nunes, people want a lot of money just playing her at 20% in the mini. So I do like that spot for Alvey, but I don't see him winning here. And I like that under 1.5 at plus 130. I think that's a value. I could see myself putting some money on that. McKinney versus Gonzalez. Now, my opinion may not be that popular. I do like McKinney. I think he wins. I think he wins in round 1 plus 150. But if he does not, let's look over here at Gonzalez. You have a Gonzalez who has 2 round 3 finishes. And then if you look down at it, it's plus 1,100 for him to get a KO TKO, and then it's plus 3,000 for a round 2. So I know it's far, but it makes me feel like I could see Gonzalez getting a tired McKinney, because McKinney just finishes people quick. I'd like to see what happens if he goes later. Now, I'm not betting that. I think McKinney is the play, but I'm going to have a little bit of Gonzalez as well, especially at that price. I could see him winning, but he is plus 600 for a reason. Takashi Sato versus Brian Battle. I like Battle. I like him by submission here, and I also like him on the money line for some parlays. As far as DraftKings goes, it's Battle or Pass. He does have limited takedowns, but he has 5 submissions. He's plus 275 for a submission, plus 550 to do that in round 1, plus 800 to do it in round 2. Any of those situations at 8,700 have an opportunity for him to score well. On the other side, Sato, he's low volume. He needs that KO, TKO, which I don't think he'll get here, especially with the under being set at 2.5. I just don't see that happening. I could see Brian Battle winning a decision and still scoring pretty decent. Now, you have Quinlan versus Witt. This is tough because Witt is a very good wrestler, but he has absolutely zero chin, and I'm not going to overthink it. I went back and watched the Quinlan film. He puts it on you. The competition that I was watching wasn't that great, but, if he lands one of them shots on Witt, he's going night-night. So I like him to get the KO TKO. I also like the fact that the plus 225 in round 1. That's very promising. So I'm going to be on Quinlan, but I'm going to own both, and I'm going to be heavy on this fight because on the other side, if Wick can get it to the ground, if Wick can wrestle, if he can get multiple takedowns, he'll score well too, especially at 7,600, and he will be low owned because I think everybody has no faith in him to be able to last a fight without getting knocked out. Granger versus McKenna. Now, I am going to go Granger. I'm going to go with the dog here, and I think that I like that plus 1,600 submission because she's done it. I think that's a value there for her. Now, McKenna, on the other hand, is a candidate for a high-dollar fade. She doesn't do enough, and she hasn't shown enough, different things to where I think she's going to score well. Now, she can generate takedowns and accumulate some control time and strikes, but I think Granger's going to give her everything. So I could see myself making this my high-money fade, and it's women's MMA. Let's not forget that. That is something, especially when you're paying that money, $9,100, for a favorite that I don't think should be priced up that much. So I'm going to go Granger, and like I said, I'll sprinkle that submission, but I do think the over 2.5 will hit at minus 300. And there's a lot of worlds where either girl scores or wins and doesn't score well. Finally, I like this fight a lot. Bueno Silva versus Edgar. Now, it opened up at even money, but Bueno Silva is now the dog here, but she's priced more than the favorite. So I see a lot of people seeing the value in Edgar and playing her. Now, the fight is plus 250 to end by submission. So either fighter, if they can do it, especially in a round 1 early, or if you look at the takedown per rounds that Stephanie Edgar has, it's 1. So if she can just get 3 takedowns, some striking, some control time, and then come out with a win on decision, or also land that plus 600 submission, she will score well. On the other side of that, you have the 8,200 Bueno Silva, who I think will be under-owned because of the fact she's a dog that's priced up above the favorite. She's got 21 significant strikes per round, which is pretty good. Her limited takedown potential hurts, but 4 out of her 5 recent wins have been by finish, and I like that to happen here. She's plus 450 to get a submission, and I can see it hitting. I'm going to be invested in both of these girls, but I do like the idea of Bueno Silva, but I know she has to get a finish, so that's going to impact how much I own her. All right, guys. Hey, so that's it. That is the full card breakdown. If you have any questions for me, just hit me up on Twitter. It's at TheRealGC9. Also, I'm going to put the link to DFS Army below. We are in a Discord. We talk all the time, and then you will get all the tools. Like if you notice some of the takedowns and stuff, those stats I was providing, I pull those from our research station, which has everything, including KO percents, decision percents, anything you need to know, it has. So I'll put that down. You'll get your first month free, and if you use my coupon code DFLGino, you'll get 10% off. And I'm always available. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I wish everybody the best of luck this week.